You're welcome to MimiNation. Fasten your seatbelts, sit back, and let us tell you a story. This is a country where art heals. Hey guys, you're welcome once again to this YouTube channel. Now, I call it the Healing Colors, and we all know how I love listening to the scriptures while I paint. And so for today, we are going to jump right into it, and we're listening to Acts chapter 2. It's one of my favorite chapters in the Bible, and we are going to be listening to it with the Bible experience that was acted by over 400 actors and singers and other sounds from all over the world. So sit tight, make sure you watch till the end because you're going to enjoy it and have fun. It's something I've never done before and it promises to be interesting. Drop your comments on what you think about painting, what you see in it, how it can relate to your current life, how it blessed you, and make sure you share with your friends and subscribe. Thank you so much. I love you.
When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly, a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. They saw what seemed to be tongues of fire that separated and came to rest on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit enabled them. Now there were staying in Jerusalem God-fearing Jews from every nation under heaven. When they heard this sound, a crowd came together in bewilderment because each one heard their own language being spoken. Utterly amazed, they asked,
"Aren't all these who are speaking Galileans?
Then how is it that each of us hears them in our native language? Parthians, Medes, and Elamites, residents of Mesopotamia, Judea and Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt and the parts of Libya near Cyrene,
Visitors from Rome, both Jews and converts to Judaism, Cretans, Arabs? We hear them declaring the wonders of God in our own tongues."
Amazed and perplexed, they asked one another.
what does this mean?
Some, however, made fun of them and said, "They have had too much wine." Then Peter stood up with the 11, raised his voice, and addressed the crowd.
Fellow Jews and all of you who live in Jerusalem, let me explain this to you. Listen carefully to what I say. These people are not drunk, as you suppose. It's only 9 in the morning. No, this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. I will show wonders in the heaven above and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and glorious day of the Lord. And everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. People of Israel, listen to this. Jesus of Nazareth was a man accredited by God to you by miracles, wonders, and signs, which God did among you through him, as you yourselves know. This man was handed over to you by God's deliberate plan and foreknowledge.